Good morning. So I've just realised I'm sat down to have our coffee chat, and I have no drink. Nothing. I've got nothing. I've not even got water. How are you doing? Are you good? Happy Thursday. It's like the calm before the super hot day, isn't it? So, yeah, it's quite pleasant here. What have you got? We've got a bit of cloud, but it's really warm. So have you got plans? Have you got plans for today? How is your week going already? If you're jumping on live, please say hello. As always, if you're watching on the replay, tell me. I love to know. Participate in the same way. If you make a comment when we talk about stuff, I will come back and I will reply. So for those of you that haven't seen any of these before, there are heaps of the previous ones in the, they're not units, but they're tagged under training. So you can find all the previous chats we've had in there. Every week I pick a different topic. So we are still working through some that people have voted on. So I will shortly be putting another list of topics for you to tell me what you want me to talk about. And the purpose of this is literally we just have a chat so that morning Kirsty, I just share some of my wisdom, my experience, my background. Emma, lovely to see you live. I share that with you. You ask questions as we go. It's not supposed to be like a funky formal. I haven't got slides. Do you know what? Today I don't even have any notes. So I'm on the fly. We're just going to see what flows. I have sat and thought, I could do all sorts, but no, I want to keep it casual. And that's the purpose of them. So I want you to comment. I want you to ask me questions and I will feed off your energy and it will all be fab. So today we're talking about client retention. Now that sounds really like a funky corporate title, doesn't it? So what does it mean first? Let's break it down. It means basically keeping your people, keeping your clients for as long as you can, but also changing the way in which you might work with them. So a corporate might have a product or a service that they can sell, which might be a one-off. So it might be like a transactional thing or that somebody buys a product. But what they'll work really hard to do is try and make sure that the next time that person needs to buy the same product, they still come back to them. Or actually, they might have a different product, which is like a complementary or an add-on, and they'll try and make sure that they retain that client so that they can grow them. So client retention in our world, so the smaller business, the providing a service, is still the same principle. It's about making sure that the people that you work with want to be there with you, they want to stay, and that they will be an advocate of what you do, that they'll make that recommendation of what you do to others, which will then have that ripple effect. So we're going to go right back to basics, because client retention does not start at the point at which they're already a client. Shock. It starts way before that, way before that. So why on earth can you retain a client you haven't even won yet? It starts in the profiling of that client. And when you talk about profiling clients, it's about really getting to grips with who they are. Who is it that you're wanting to serve? Who's the perfect person for you to gel with, for you to work with? Now, if you're providing a service where you're kind of in a relationship, and obviously relationship has a huge diverse description to it, but if you're interacting with somebody on an ongoing basis, you are in a relationship with them. So you have to gel, you have to get on with somebody. Pauline, hello. So tell me where you have bought something or you've had an experience with somebody where you've exchanged over a period of time. I don't want to lead you by giving you any suggestions, where it sticks in your mind because it was really good. So tell me what that situation was, because we've all probably got them. So tell me when it was good, and what was it? Was it something that somebody maybe came into your house to do for you? Was it something that you buy still on a regular basis, but you keep going back to that one place to buy again from them? Tell me what it is that sticks in your mind in terms of that experience. It might be that it's an online transaction that you do, but you really like the website, or you like the little sort of touches that somebody puts on. So let's start thinking about some examples. while you're typing and thinking, I'm going to tell you about mine. Over the years, we have had a lot of work done in our house. So not necessarily this one, but the previous house, we kind of halved it again. So we had all sorts of tradespeople. We had builders, we had every trade under the sun, in and out and in and out. And then we had to do the garden after that because we made a mess of it. So people come and go in your life, and they are in your home, and you either, like, it's really easy, it's a fun transaction, it's great to have them there, or it can just be a little bit grating. And those people who I've had back to do more work, to do other things, to do little jobs, or I've gone to them and said, could you this, is this your thing you do? They're the people where it was a pleasant transaction. Because why would I, like the person who might have done an amazing plastering job, if there was something about them and us as a household that didn't gel, then you don't have them back. And it's the same with, so in my small town, there are 2 florists. They are next door but one to each other, both like privately owned small businesses. And I made a promise to myself a little while ago to continue to have some fresh flowers in the house, like these. And so every 2 to 3 weeks, I will go and I'll physically buy a bunch, and it'll vary what I have in it. And there's one that I go to now all the time because I tried both. I tried to sort of almost alternate it because I felt that I should. But actually the one, she remembered little things about me, and she would ask me how the children were, or she'd ask me how the business was going. She would pass the time of day on a deeper level with me, as opposed to the other one. It was very transactional. She still did a great job. She still provided me with what I needed, but it was less deep. So those 2 now, the one has won my consistent business, and I'm not spending a heap of money. Like, it's normally no more than 10 or 15 pounds, and it's like a small bunch. That's it. That's what you're looking at. And when you get that connection with somebody, I don't even think she knows my name, but she remembers little things, and she makes it her. She makes the time to ask me and to get into a conversation with me. So she interacts with me as a human being on a very basic level. Emma has given us an example. My Pilates teacher, stroke massage therapist, is that the same person? Amazing. Because she treats you as an individual. She can pinpoint your issues and rectify them. She's qualified and knowledgeable. Yeah, brilliant example. I've got similar with someone that's done treatment, so like beauty treatments. There's times when I've been to some and it's fine, they do their thing and it's probably great, but then there's other times I've gone and it's like literally chatting to my mate for when they do a manicure or pedicure or something, and it feels so much nicer. So where I'm trying to get to with this, I'm going to read your others, is it's about pinpointing, well, what do those people do? Why do they make that impression on you? Pauline, hairdresser, I'm off to mine this afternoon. I can't wait. That's my 2nd visit. Some people haven't even gone once yet since lockdown, but this is my 2nd. Not sure if this is what you mean, but you bought a top online. Yeah, fine. Loved the touches around the packaging, freebies. Yeah, no, really good, Kirsty. You started following them on social media. You enjoy the content they're starting. Yeah, no, really good, because it's harder when we're talking about that online. So for the florist example, I'm not saying she's just like got it easy. She hasn't, because she's had some really challenging times, but it's easier face to face. So when someone's delivering a service, so like a physical in-person service, they can normally make that connection a little bit easier. So when you're delivering online, you have to have those little extras. You have to work that little tiny bit harder to get to the point where you can make those connections, make that difference, and make yourself memorable as well. So exactly as you say, Kirsty, little touches, packaging, just feeling like somebody's got just kind of made the effort, really, isn't it? Stayed with your hairdresser 5 years, but you were fickle. Yeah, I used to travel. At one point, I used to travel like 40 miles when I've changed area. I used to travel back to my hairdresser because she both understood what I wanted, but again, it felt like I was going to a mate. So let's go backwards then. Where does it start, this piece around making sure we get that right? And it starts at the point at which you are deciding who you're going to serve and being very conscious about who that person is, like that one person. So knowing what their needs are, what their pains are, what their life looks like. If you've defined it down to one person, you know that that person is somebody that you are going to want to serve. And this is the bit that people often miss out. So I've seen some amazing profiles done of, yeah, this is the person, this is my ideal client, this is this. And I say, well, why have you picked them? Because they've got disposable income. That's often the way that people default, because they go, well, this sector of people here, they've probably got money to spend. I'm looking for them to spend some money, so I'm going with them there. My dog wants to go out again. She did this last week, didn't she? Sorry, I'm going to let her out, otherwise she'll scratch my door. Right, they're locked out. When we profile those ideal clients, it should be done with us in mind as well, and if you've missed that part, then go back and have another look. So for me, it's about values. So I did a piece of work for myself not too long ago, but a while enough that it's settled with me now, around what are my personal values. So what am I driven by? How do I live my life? So bigger than the business, it's about me and how I kind of exist. And for me, those are my guiding principles. So I can work with lots of different people with lots of different backgrounds, stories, situations, but fundamentally, I believe that they have the same values as me, or we certainly overlap on lots of them. So I've got 2 people that are in the mastermind on now. It'd be interesting to see whether you can kind of feel that. So let me tell you what my values are. I shouldn't need to look, should I? But I'm just going to look just because it's easier. So my first one is enthusiasm. That that's something I live by in everything. So if I'm doing something, I'm not going at it. I don't do that'll do, half-hearted. Nah. There is nothing more opposite that describes me. You know, if I'm cleaning, it's all out. If I'm decorating, it's not just to slap the paint on the walls. If I'm washing my car, it's going to get a full on this. You know, I'm enthusiastic about what I do, and that kind of carries through. And I like to make sure that it shines through me as well. Like I'm not how's your day? No, I'm full on enthusiasm is me. So that's my number one. Optimism, it sort of ties in, but it is distinctly different in that I will always look for the positives. I'll look for the future. How can I? But this look at this situation that it's created. Yes, that might have been bad, but look what it's offered us. It's given us this opportunity to do this, this, and this. And I know that's annoying for some people, but actually optimism is carrying me through my life on a wave of positivity. Ambition is another one for me. So I want people who want to drive themselves forward. They've got that desire to push on. They're keen. They have that drive within them. That ambition. That's very much me. And then my last one is freedom. Now, freedom for everybody means something different, but this was the one that I think took me a while to really kind of hone into. But freedom for me means not having to be at the beck and call of somebody else. So yes, I have to work. We all have to work to a certain length of time in a day, but when I'm making the choice to do it and I'm flexing my time around my family, that to me is the freedom. Freedom for me doesn't necessarily mean I can take my laptop and go and work on a beach in some far-flung place. Like that's not the thing for me. I want to be able to know that I can, like tomorrow it's going to be boiling hot. I probably won't do that much during the day. I'll be with my kids, we'll go out for the day, we'll do something, and then in the evening I'll do something, because that's the freedom that my life now offers me. So they're just some examples about some values that I hold, and what I will make sure in my both subconscious and conscious is that the people that I want to work with have elements of that in them, and once you're tapped into them yourself, you know that person's got them. So your ideal client needs to be somebody that you're going to relate to. You need to be able to get on with them, because if you profile somebody that it could in theory be your ideal client, but then when it comes to it, they get right on your nerves, then you're not going to want to stay together. That ideal client for you needs to be somebody that will get on with you, because guess what? Then they will stay near you. They will stay near you. They'll want to be in your company. You know, those people that you've probably all met in your life where they just seem to kind of exude this thing. It's like I don't know, it's an immeasurable, they almost like magnetise people towards them. They're charismatic. When they're in a room, they hold the room. Those type of people draw others towards them. Now, I'm not saying you have to go into a room and be big and brash and own the crowd of people. It's not about that. It's about you just being really within your own values, your own power. And then those people who have got the similar ones will naturally gravitate towards. That's what we do as human beings. We gravitate towards the people that share stuff with us. And the things they share most often are the values. Because if suddenly you find out that someone you thought you were really, really aligned with, but they've got like a really left field to yours value or a belief or something that kind of drives them, and it's just totally misaligned with you, then you can kind of feel immediately a bit, ooh, actually that doesn't fit. For me, this is slightly surface, but it's a really important one for me. It's about whether or not someone will get on with dogs, which I've got 2, and my dogs are fairly sociable. So if I made really good friends with somebody in a gym, and we used to meet, go for drinks, and I'd say, oh, you should come round for coffee. Didn't even think to mention that I'd got dogs. And I did, and she was like, oh, I don't like dogs, I'm not coming to your house. And immediately it kind of switched the relationship that I had with her. I thought, oh no, she's not actually my kind of person. We've got round it and it's okay. But, it's that kind of thing that if you are misaligned, you're just not going to, you're not going to be able to move forward together. So profiling your ideal client should be that very, very first step. So let's take that through to, you've profiled them, you know that you've got that shared value, you kind of, yes, it's working, and they become that client. So they become that client and you do your thing. What's to stop them getting that thing from you and then going? So the first element is what we've just talked about. It's them being magnetised towards you. It's having that common ground. It's being able to feel comfortable in each other's company and being able to move forward together. But the other very critical piece, they have to be getting benefit from this, because it's not a friendship, it is a business transaction. So whatever you're providing to them has to do its thing for them. So let's use an example. So you might find the perfect, let's stick with the beauty. Oh no, let's go Pilates for Emma. So let's say you feel as though you really connect with that person, and you want to do Pilates, that's what's driving you to kind of go towards them. You've chatted to them, you think, yeah, do you know what, I'm going to go to your class, feels like, yeah, I can do that. You go along and they teach it fine, like it's okay. The way they teach it is pretty textbook, but then you see the way that they're interacting with other people, and there's just like something, I don't know, maybe they trying to think of this. So maybe they criticise without necessarily meaning to, but they sort of pull people up. You're not quite doing that right, you might want to this, and that just suddenly makes you feel a little bit ill at ease. If you're not totally in that, yes, I'm loving this and this is easy to go through, this is comfortable and I'm enjoying it, then suddenly you're kind of like, you might come to the end of your 6 weeks or whatever and then go, it's just not for me. And there's something that just doesn't quite, so you still have to, you as a supplier of the thing you do, need to fulfill totally the purpose of what it is you're in this relationship for. So let's say I brought, enrolled a whole new academy of people. I'd told them they're going to get this, this and this and this and this. And when they join, they log on to the training area that's got all the training in, and they kind of look at it and go, well, there's only like 3 things in there, and I can't hear you properly on the videos, and the training material, like, it's all squiffed, and it's, if it's bad quality in terms of what you're delivering, then again they're gonna fall out of that place of, yeah, this is all amazing. Let's think of one of yours as a real specific example. So Emma, if you bring someone towards you, they feel right, you're kind of interacting really nicely, you feel like you can gel, you know that you can help them, they turn up and you're just like really disorganized, and I don't actually know the stages we should go through, I don't really have a process, you tell me what you want, and it just doesn't feel as though that person's getting good value. They have to feel as though what they're getting is what you sold them and what they need. So that's the first thing, be in your total integrity. Don't oversell, don't over promise, don't under deliver, never ever under deliver, because that's the first and the quickest way. Has anyone else bought anything online where you think you're getting, I've done it with volumes because I'm rubbish at volume of things, so I've bought something where I thought I was getting something of this size and thought, oh, that's a decent bargain, and it comes and it's like a little bottle like that. Oh no. Again, I end up feeling because probably it was my fault in most of those cases, but the impression isn't right. My husband did it recently, buying something for the kids that he thought he was getting a set of 10 of something, and again he was, oh yeah, that's a really good deal, they were little cars. One turned up, and you're not going to go back to that because they gave the wrong impression, they under delivered. So Kirsty, it sounds like you had a great example of over delivering. So again, let's think of some examples in our own lives, because it's worth tapping into those. When something makes us feel good, it's likely to kick off those same emotions in somebody else. So think of an example where somebody has over delivered on what you thought you were going to get, and it's been pleasant. You're like, oh wow, that's a real, they've gone above and beyond. These are harder to think of because we tend to be in a fairly transactional world, don't we? Monica, good morning. So if you can think of a way where somebody is over delivered and you've got more out of it than you thought you would, or there was a free gift with something that you bought and that free gift was totally what went with the thing that you already had. Think of those examples while we go on to the next one. So we have covered making sure your ideal client is right for you, and that includes, you meant to send a heart, not a shocked face. Yeah, I did see the shocked face, I'm not sure what that means. So we talked about the making sure your ideal client is right, and that ideal client has the elements within them that you hold dear to you as well. So it could be your values, well, however it is you describe it, your guiding principles, your beliefs, your strong views, something that is common ground to you. That's getting really deep with your ideal client. So you've profiled your ideal client, you brought them to you, you've managed to get them into your world so they are a client, and then you have delivered what you have said you're going to deliver. The final element then is where next? So let's say you offer trying to think of a very specific example. So let's say, Emma, you offer, and I don't know, by the way, that you offer 4 weeks of instrument, this is so bad, I'm so not musical, that you're going to teach somebody, you're going to take somebody from knowing absolutely the basics to being able to quite comfortably play the instrument of their choice. There we go. And you offer it as a package. It's a like, I'm going to take you from here, which is where you're starting from, to here. They've got a measurable thing, and they know they're going to go through a process to do that. So you deliver the thing that you've said, and they go away going, oh yeah, they're going through it. They're like, yes, this is totally working. I'm absolutely seeing progress. I'm working towards that end of that thing. They feel aligned to you. They're happy to be working with you. It's all going amazing. But what happens at the end of that thing? Are you just going to let them go, oh, thanks ever so much, we've got to that thing, and like off we go? No. No, you are literally letting someone walk away when actually it is so much better to retain a client than to go out and find another one. So this is a huge, very basic principle in business. Grow your current existing clients rather than go out and find one, because every time you have to go out and find another client, it costs you. It costs you in time, it costs you in resource, it costs you in advertising if that's what you're doing, it costs you to all that kind of getting to know you thing again. All of that takes a big investment for you to go and get that new client, because of course you've got to go through all that that initial stage again and that draw them towards you? Do we have that kind of vibe and all of that? If you can find a way to add on to what you already do or already have delivered to that person, which takes them to another level, then immediately they are drawn in towards you that little bit tighter. Let's read Emma's example before I go on. So an online ballet class membership. Oh, brilliant, love that. Learning ballet or in your home. Do you just kind of do it on a screen? So as well as the exercise that I was expecting, you get recipes, have amazing. Yeah, really good. So they've found the add-on elements that they're effectively doing it as a holistic. It's not just about learning ballet and to move your body in a certain way. They're looking at that entire, yeah, love it, life, get yourself healthy, use that as an element of moving. And yeah, health is a really good one because there's lots of elements to that. But you know, there is huge amounts that actually you can offer over and above. So where I was going with this is the value versus income ladder. I might need to draw. I've got some new pens. I was talking to the Academy group last night about my new pens. So chuffed with them. I love a Bic biro. I'm not an expensive pen fan at all. Like, my husband's bought me the most beautiful pens and they're still in the drawer. I've used them until like the thing ran out. I'm not a fan. So where I left a business once and they bought me a Mont Blanc pen and I was so paranoid about leaving it somewhere. I didn't use it. It's still in the drawer, still in the box actually. Right, so here we go. I'm going to draw in my blue pen. So this is the ladder that we're talking about, and we have money and we have value along the bottom. Right, here we go. Yes, they're called, you can probably get them on Amazon, Crystal, and they're 1.6 mil as well, which I like. They're a little bit wider, they don't scratch so much. I've got blue, pink, green, purple. They're epic. Right, hold on before I whiz into my thing. Let's see what you say. Send heart, yeah, red Emma's. Jealous, see. It's amazing what kicks off in the jealousy. At the moment, you just work with one-to-ones. You have weekly lessons. You're working on creating a video series. Brilliant. Yeah, fab. Yeah, should use them. Yeah, it's black ink as well. It's really boring. Like, do you know what? I see that and I think of, I used to work with quite a lot of mature men and they had like a thing about their pens, and that's all that I can associate them with. And they'd all get like their pens, some of them had these little pouch things that they kept them in, and it was like a pen off, and it was just a massive ego thing. So I think I've got like an emotional thing to do with the pen rather than just the pen. So anyway, we digress. Let's talk about this beautiful ladder. Does it switch it? It does, doesn't it? So that's a pound sign, which looks like some freakish 7 now on the screen. And this says value, or as my old boss used to not be able to say this, value used to say it. So this is where they start. So when you first start your relationship with your client, pen off. It was a pen off. I think there was more to it. Do you know what I mean? Pen, nearly pen. So this is where someone starts with you. So what you deliver to them is, it's okay value. So let's put a bottom layer on there. So there we go. That's the bottom layer. Oh God, I can't write upside down, can I? Okay, that's better. So this is where they start with you. You've drawn them in. You're going to give them some good, some assistance, and what they're paying is lower. So actually, the value of what they're getting is lower. So what you want to do here is just kind of keep them in this. They're getting more to know you. They're getting to understand what you can do. They're starting to trust in you that little bit more. So then after that, they're ready to go to the next stage where, look, they pay more money, but they get more value. So having that difference between the two. So let's use a very real example. So I have created and launched the Business Accelerator program, like mini course really. It's not really a program. So that is like my entry level. It's low cost, £99 for 6 areas, but actually it's pretty good value. So it feels as though what those people that are going through that are getting is pretty good on the value, but actually they've not paid enough. But here's where you start to develop the relationship. Here's where you develop the trust with your client. And then you're looking to take them, I'll have to draw right down, each level, you're looking to move them up. So it will totally, so your business model is your business model. I can't say you need to keep them here for a week, 2 weeks, a year. Some people it's going to be really quick, that it's like an instant transaction. If they get something, they might get a printable, a downloadable, whatever, and then all of a sudden they're ready to move to the next stage. So your increments might be small. It might be that's free, that's £50, that's £200, up here is £1,000. But it might be much, much bigger jumps. It's whatever is personal to your business and what you're supplying. So in here is where you're building the trust. They have to know that you're good for what you've said you'll deliver, which is why we've said, here is really where you've got to over deliver. So the ballet lessons, if that was your entry level, they've done an amazing job of being able to give you massive value, but probably keep it at the same cost. So then I hope they've now got another level that you can go to where it's walking you up this ladder. And of course, if you end up with lots in here, you will lose some. There's no guarantee that some will move on, because it could be that that's all they wanted. They needed to learn the thing, it's gone all bright again now. They're wanting to learn the thing to do something very specific. They get that need gets fulfilled, and then they move on. That's fine. But it's about you getting to grips with, so what else will there be? And we're very good often at looking to try and fix a problem and go, brilliant, I fixed that for you, thanks ever so much, and letting them go. Because we get, as a supplier of these services, this relationship, we get quite a hit from that, because we've gone, oh, look at that, I've done really well, aren't they happy now? Off they go, sailing off, happy that I've solved their problem. But actually, there could be something else that's created as a result of what you've already helped them with. So again, it's getting into that head of your ideal client. So Emma, let's use your ballet example, because I really like that. I can't find it now. So if they had just started at so you can buy a package where you get an online ballet class. You start doing that, you're really enjoying it, you do it for a certain length of time, and you go, oh, actually, I feel like I've learned enough as I need to. I'll go now, because actually what I'm now thinking about is my body more as a whole, and I'd like to tone up a little bit more. Maybe I'd like to shed a few pounds, and I'd like to sort of feel better about moving my body, and the ballet isn't enough. So if they didn't have those additional elements to it, there's every chance you'd have gone somewhere else, because you'd have felt like that need, that desire, that requirement for the ballet was sorted, but actually now you wanted something else. The other great example of this is somebody that might supply a water cooler. I really stick with this example, I've used it before. So let's say you're selling, those great big upside down bottles that offices use. Do you remember them in offices? They're like an upside down giant bottle, and you dispense the water straight from them. So let's say you phone and you sell the water, and you're able to sell the water, sell the bottle, like, yeah, brilliant, it's a great bargain. But now you've created another problem, because that client needs to be able to house the thing it sits on. They also need to be able to keep it clean. They need to service it. They need it cleansing, sanitizing. They need it ongoing maintenance of it, as well as the replacement water. So all of a sudden you can go from, you've just sold a bottle of water, to you've then taken them up, that you're adding additional value, but you're also adding additional cost. Sorry, being put off by people outside my window carrying fence panels around. So you're taking them up that ladder, because they're adding these on all the time. They're getting more value, but they're willing to pay for that additional value. So what, has anyone got any examples where you're really conscious that someone's done that with you? Because now you can maybe see it a little bit more. There will be, I can guarantee there will be things in your life where you've ended up buying one thing and then adding that and adding that and adding that. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying, you've been hoodwinked, because it's business. It's the way that people grow, retain, develop their clients. But having an awareness of it in your daily life means that you're a bit more conscious of when it's happening, and how have they done that? Well, what have they added on? And it makes you think about what you might be able to do. So as I've described, so my business accelerator is now my low cost but hopefully good value offer, so that then if someone's ready to invest on the next thing, because it still raises more questions, there's not everything solved for them, and I've not been involved in the business, so the next level from that is probably my one-to-one, so that I can start to get to grips specifically with you, with your business, get your plan together and move you forward in that way. So that's a little bit more cost, but it's massively more value for that potential client for me. And then ultimately there's the academy. So my steps are fairly big, but they take people through that journey of, well, yes, it solved that problem, but I'm still not sure how to do this. So now I go, oh, well, actually, here's the module within the academy that helps you with the technical side to be able to get an advert out, or produce a mailing list and start your social media presence a little bit better. So each one creates a solution to the problem that the previous one has, I guess, exposed, but they didn't know at the time that they had that problem. So has nobody got any examples? There are add-on and closer working with instruction. Okay, so this is that's a perfect example then. Yeah, so the ballet has got the core ballet, they've got the additional recipes, the nutrition, the general sort of health, and then they've got the add-ons for specifics. So yeah, sounds like they've absolutely got it nailed. The other classic is when you buy something on a website and you're like almost at checking out, and they go, oh, actually, we've got this thing that really goes amazingly well with the original thing you bought. Why don't you just add that for like a fraction of the cost? So effectively you're getting like a little bundle of stuff. They get me every time. I'm a total sucker for them. So you might have bought, I don't know, a shampoo, and they go, oh, well, you need the conditioner, and well, what about having everything in the same smell? Why don't you buy that as well? Oh God, yeah, might as well. But it's done that upsell, that increase the spend, but actually giving them more value. And then if you buy this on its own, it costs this much, but if you add it on to what you've already bought, it's only that much. It's exactly the same mentality. It's exactly the same buying psyche that people work through. So anyone got any other examples? So how are you going to retain your clients? That's the question for you to work on. How are you going to make sure that what you offer initially has got a route, it's got somewhere else they can go? And do you know what? I did not know the answers to any of this stuff when I started. I knew I was going to offer this thing and I had one thing. So it comes in time, because the more you start interacting with your clients, the more you learn about what their real true pain points are, where they're struggling, then it's there that you can end up developing. So the first iteration of my academy had no tech stuff in there whatsoever. But the more I worked with clients on the original modules, the more we were ending up getting into solution mode of, yes, but I don't know how to this, and I don't know how to this, and I really struggle with this because I don't know how to operate this system and this system. It was clear that was a need, it was a gap in what I was supporting, so I created something as an add-on to add on to the next version. So it can come in time. I don't necessarily think that everybody can sit and go, right, I'm gonna draw this out and I'm gonna know so clearly that this is the route they're gonna go on, and you will lose people at each one as well, but that's fine, because it does do something weird to the right, that doesn't it? So imagine if that's your low one, but you've got high volume of people, the next level up, you're going to have a lower volume of people, but they're paying more money. So actually each one of these blocks should probably be there or thereabouts the same value, because they're sort of dropping through. It's the reverse of a sales funnel, where you get lots of people in the top, then they drop through to the next level and the next level and the next level, that you'll get less people, but they're spending more money as you go through and through the process. You've done that this morning. You've been suckered into the upsell. It's not suckered in, I shouldn't say, because I know I'm very conscious of the way that it works and what's available, and there's like some really funky tech tools that you're just about to press pay and it pops up and like, oh no, I need to buy that as well. But it's clever, isn't it? And it does work for lots of us. So I want you to leave today with some thoughts around your value, remember the visual, your value and your money. So the cost to the client goes up with the value that you're delivering to them. If you have one signature offer and this is your thing, fabulous. To have one signature offer is brilliant, because that should be the thing that you become known for. That's what you do. You think of Emma and you think of this. You think of Kirsty and it's this. That's perfect. But when those people have come into your world, that's when it starts to, well, actually there's this available and there's this available. So I'm not saying you create like a huge great big menu. Like, the services that you offer to the world should not look like a takeaway menu. It should be simple. It should be easy for the people to understand, to be able to say, yes, that's what I need and I understand what I'm getting for that, and it should represent good value for them. But it's once they're in your world, once they're with you, that you should be able to sort of, on a case-by-case basis, because you've got to listen to what they need. It's no good trying to upsell them something that they go, well, I just don't need that, because then you've ruined your credibility. So it's an iterative process that will come in time as you develop those relationships and you've brought those people towards you, and you start to learn genuinely what their pain points are, as opposed to the ones that you had expected them to be, because they might be slightly different. And it will come. So if you're really, really super early days, then this is something that I don't want you to lose sleep over. Get one offer right, get your one thing that you know absolutely nails the pain point for your client, get that sorted, and then the rest will come in time. So has anybody got any questions before we go? Thank you ever so much for staying with me. 45 minutes. You're a trooping lot. Yeah, tell me if that's helped. Tell me if you've got any questions, and obviously if you've watched on replay, thank you very much. Same goes if you've got any questions, if you've got some really good examples, because the more we're conscious of it, as I say, the more you can think about how you can apply that in your business. And yeah, give me a shout. The comments are a bit slow. Okay, I'm going to go. I have something exciting to share with you on Tuesday. I can't tell you yet, but I'll be able to tell you more about it on Tuesday. I have written a commitment to myself to go live every day between now and the end of August. So you will see me even for little snippets every single day from here on in. I hope you don't melt tomorrow. There's no questions coming through. There's no comments whatsoever. Is it super slow? I know you're still with me. Just a like then. I think they come through quicker. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a little bit off my fringe so it doesn't tickle my eyelashes. Okay, I'm going to go. It's too slow. If you write any questions, I'll check it out on the comments, and I will see you all really, really soon. Go and have a great Thursday. Bye.